British Empire, Reparations, Part 6. I've been asked to do this video by MyNoon 1999 on the question of whether the British Empire should have given reparations to the peoples it conquered, and also because of the millions of people that the Empire killed during warfare. Well, I have to ask myself this question: is it feasible? No, it is not feasible, because the British Empire, or Great Britain as it is at the moment, is still a major power in the world and cannot be forced to give up reparations, unlike the Germans, or sorry, I should say the Nazis did for the Jews, or the American Indians did with the United States government. Why did the American Indians go for reparations and ask for it? Because they had a powerful media campaign and powerful financial backing from their casino money, which is on many reservations, is legal. There is no major movement in Great Britain for reparations for reparations to be made to the former colonies of Great Britain. But we have to ask ourselves a moral point here, and my first reaction was, this is a ridiculous thing to ask that Great Britain pay back money to people it conquered in the past. Because my first immediate quote that came to mind was that of Julius Caesar, when Julius Caesar said, the victor may impose on the vanquished any terms or conditions that he sees fit. And this was the unconditional surrender motto of the British Empire. The British Empire saw itself as the new Rome, and it gave birth to what is the modern Rome of today, the European Union, in an indirect way. But empires by their nature are a process of weakening the state that creates them, because empires are expensive. Empires are a drain on the resources and manpower of the country that creates them, and normally end in collapse, as they very nearly did during World War I and World War II. Our main opponents during that time was Germany. But should we give reparations to Germany? Should we give reparations to the Boer Volk for what happened in World War II? What happened in the Boer War? Or should we give reparations to the millions of Germans who were killed, the relatives of millions of Germans who were killed in the First World War? Well, when both sides are using dubious tactics, and the use of mass bombing on both sides was carried out by Germany and Great Britain, you can see that there is a moral equivalent there. Whereas the slaughter of millions of people in British concentration camps or German concentration camps who are unarmed is not the same thing. The Boers suffered under British rule in South Africa to an extreme extent. So did the Jews under the rule of both the Soviet Union and the Nazi Germany. Even though the leadership of the Soviet Union was mostly Jewish. The reparations for people in general cases of genocide, which is still going on now in China, where they kill over 1 million people a year, and we've lived comfortably while this is going on, yet there is no large campaign for the reparation of money to members of the Chinese community who have suffered under the communist regime, or the nationalist regime before that, or the monarchist regime before that in China. This is a country, China, that has killed over 300 million of its own people in recent history, and many millions more in ancient history. Yet we are not asking the Chinese to do that. Why? Because they are a major power. Why are we not asking the for reparations from the Israelis for the murders of thousands of Palestinians? Why? Because they are a major power. Power does have a relative moral turn on what we are going to do, what we're going to do in future events. Why? Because if we ask for reparations from, say, Israel for the murder of thousands of Palestinians, what would their reaction be? They'd probably or China for the murder of millions of its citizens, of its own citizens, or Russia with its checkered history of killing hundreds of millions of its own people, or the Soviet Union as it was. This would lead us to more people being killed. But it's still a strong moral point that people who've committed genocide should pay for it. But in the case of the British Empire, I don't believe it stands up to hold water. If there is to be reparations given on both sides for an equal moral equivalent to be created between both sides who are engaged in warfare, then both sides must give up an equal proportion of what they gained from carrying out war in the first place. This means that, for instance, the United States would have to give back all the technology that it gained from the Second World War, or all the technology it gained from its inception in 1776 to the British Empire, and vice versa. It just cannot be unravelled. It is an entangling part of history that you just have to let sleeping dogs lie on this one. So I believe that the reparations for the British Empire is a ridiculous idea. On the case of whether we can stop future genocides, though, and reparations for those that are happening in our own time, that is a valid point and a strong point, and it should be driven home. The events that are happening in Egypt at this moment are a strong indication that could have a mass movement for people that would be strongly supported by Western populations of the European Union, Great Britain and the United States. Acting together as the West, we can stop having dictatorial regimes that massacre their own people and torture their own people. And I believe that is the future way to go. It will be our generation, the Facebook generation, the Twitter generation, the YouTube generation that does this. We are living in momentous times, and the shadow of the British Empire still may loom over us, but it is not. So the bones of history do not necessarily need to encase us and entrap us in our future actions. Thank you for listening, and I will do another video response to Noon's video when he does his, okay, and it will be on the British Empire. Thank you.